How would you describe your music?
I would describe our music as, well, it's definitely folk based in terms of the instruments that we're using and the storytelling. Um, I would say that it has a spiritual component, although my desire in music is really not to be preachy or to tell other people um, what they should believe or how they should live, but definitely to encourage others to think, and to think beyond their current scope, um, and to be open. That's probably the two main cruxes of the writing. But as in terms of style, yeah, I guess we're in the folky category, and that's okay. We like the folkies.
Oh, okay. So how has your band sound evolved through the years? I know you kind of covered that a little bit, but.
Well, it's definitely evolved rapidly in the last year. Prior to February of 2009, when we went in to record, we actually were at a home of some dear friends of ours from a band called Patchouli. And they sort of took us in and said, we really want to record your songs. They're beautiful. They're really encouraging people. And so they brought us to their home along the Mississippi up near Minneapolis, and just totally eased us into this recording process. And at that time, we were playing under the name Jana Holland. So I was a singer-songwriter first. Craig had always been in other bands. And so, but he had started to play with me and started to develop our sound together for about a year prior to that recording. And so when we went into the studios, I had been feeling, even prior to that we needed to be more cohesive in our name, that it was just always awkward to introduce, to be on a bill as Jana Holland, but then get up there as a duo and me be like, hi, I'm Jana Holland, and this is my sidekick, Craig, I don't know. I know a lot of people do it, but I just felt like for us it needed to be more like, we are this, And so I was coming up with names, just like when I was a little girl trying to come up with what my last name might be, or, like when you do that. And I had like this notepad and I'm writing all these different names. And every time I bring him one, he'd be like, no. And we were in the studio with Bruce and Julie, and they were both like, yeah, this would be a good time to do this transition before this album comes out. And so, I don't know, we just were like, well, what should we call ourselves? And I'm like, well, what about just calling us like our last name, the Hollands? Because it's, it's similar to Jana Holland. And so it was like unanimous, like, yes. And then I put the exclamation mark on the end because I was so excited about it. So that's officially our name, the Hollands, with the exclamation mark.
Okay. Well, we should get that right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you compose? Does the music come first, or the lyrics? Or?
Well, that's what's interesting is in the past, I have always written everything, and then Craig would just find a part. And so, but what's happened since our album came out is we've begun to write our new songs together, and it's just beginning to shift where he comes up with music first, and then I'll write lyrics to what he's come up with. So there's a lot more of him and his influences from his experiences. Not lyrically, but his sound is so unique, and so the more I want more of that to come through, so that we're equal. And yeah, it's begun to shift, and it's kind of fun. Yeah, it is. It's fun.
What were your favorite songs and what inspired each?
Oh, on our album?
Any new album?
Yeah. Well, I used to hate getting asked that question when I was little. What's your favorite ice cream?
Okay.
I love ice cream. I don't know. You know, it depends on my mood for the night that I'm playing them. Different ones hit me at different times, different ways. Sometimes I'm just like, ugh, I don't want to sing that again. But then other nights it just totally is healing to my soul. And so I don't know. I know the Shack, which we don't play anymore in public, we have to rework it because the way we wrote that song was with Craig playing the electric guitar and Gracie on the glockenspiel, and we don't use those instruments anymore.
Yeah.
So, but the process of writing that song, the actual lyrics to that song, I love. I love the way that song came out, and it was a response to that book, The Shack. And so sort of that universal idea that whatever pain you're going through, we're all made of the same mud, and we all have this opportunity to reach up and accept and trust. And but we tend to be pretty self-reliant, and that doesn't always work, and rebellious. So I really like the lyrics to that song. But of ones that we actually perform, I love Winter by the Bay. I love the actual melodicness of that. Taps right into my heart. Like that's the music that comes out of my heart. The lyrics are beautiful too, but the actual musicality of Winter by the Bay is just makes me happy.